Expert Insights, a series where you are catered with a lot of fantasizing discoveries, pleasant surprises, and a host brimming with lots and lots of curiosity. I'm your enthusiastic host, Akshita, and today we are introducing a true standout. Our guest today is a distinguished alumnus of the Sriram College of Commerce, and his brilliance has truly shown as he graduated with flying colors from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, securing an impressive rank. Having previously lent his expertise to the world of Big Four consulting, he now dons the hat of an entrepreneur as the proud owner of Ratan Enterprises. Juggling numerous other remarkable achievements, are you thrilled as I am to uncover more about him? I'm sure you are too. So, without further ado, let's extend a warm welcome to our esteemed guest for today, Mr. Arpan Kukreja. Arpan, welcome to the show. How are you feeling today?
Thank you so much, Akshita. I'm feeling very privileged to be invited as a guest on your platform.
Thank you so much. Arpan, while I have done a tiny bit of online detective work, but before I start bombarding you with my questions, I'd love for you to take the stage and introduce yourself to our lovely audiences in your own unique style.
Thank you so much, Akshita, for actually you have introduced a lot about me. I will also do the same. I completed my BCom honors from Sriram College of Commerce. Then I decided to pursue chartered accountancy, and I have joined Ernst and Young, and I have worked there as a business consultant. After completing my CA with EY, I decided to quit because I think that there's a lot to more to explore outside as well and the opportunities as well. I joined my family business of auto parts and also scaled it to the new heights. Apart from that, since I am a chartered accountant from commerce background, so I have some passion for finance and stock markets as well. So I started making content on finance as well. Side by side, I was managing my auto part business also. And like from the past few months, I have gained a lot of love from Instagram and social media also, and have gathered a following of 150k plus people. And right now, I'm planning to take a registration from SEBI as well, so that in order to maintain credibility with people.
Well, that sounds absolutely lovely, and I really look forward to learning more about you. And like both me and our viewers, they would get to learn a lot from you. I have that feeling. Now,
I also hope
let's
so.
rewind. Yes, Arpan, I have a bunch of questions burning ready for our conversation today. So, without further ado, I'll dive into the first one. Let's rewind the days when we all had to make that, pivotal choice after 10th grade, selecting our educational path. I opted for science stream, fueled by a deep passion of biology, but somehow ended up in a fintech. Meanwhile, some of my classmates, they ventured into commerce, some due to genuine interest and other, well, they had their own reasons. Now, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but given your successful career in this field, were you always as resolute in your choice from the get go? Like, what were the reasons you were like, okay, I really want to learn about commerce, or you were like, okay, let's just get into commerce and I'll figure the rest out? What was there in your mind at that time?
Actually, I was not good in science, so the medical and non-medical options were out of my list. And also,
Right.
I guess in 10th we have studied some economics, and from that time I also was reading news as well. For 10th class student, I don't think many of the people nowadays read news, or I don't know whether the culture has changed or not by the since internet is now been accessible and now you can explore more options as well. Because earlier when I was in 10th, I guess the internet was not that cheap, so that we can explore more options. So at that time we have to consult our peers, counselors in schools only. That was the only options available. But nowadays, I guess the generation is privileged enough to have a search on YouTube, on social media, on LinkedIn as well, to gain insights, insights and to know about the opportunities. Actually, I was not good in science, and I have some inclination towards. I think that I can do well in economics, and I just chose to at that time to work on my strength. And I know my strength is not science, but since I had studied economics was there in 10th, and I think I can do good in numbers. So I decided to opt for commerce. And then when you go along with after 10, 12, the more option, more opportunity, you meet more people, and then the path will get more clear. But nowadays, I guess the students are very much privileged to have access to the LinkedIn. They can communicate to someone whom they
Right.
admire, whom they idolize. So I guess today, but also it adds to confusion as well. So that students should, I guess, focus on their strength. Since on their 10th, I mean, students should try to find out what their strengths were in their 10th class. If they think that they have a strength in science, then they should definitely go for science, because I believe technology also has a good future. But that doesn't mean only everything is in technology. But if you have strength and you have passion, then you can do well, excel in any field. And
Well,
once again,
that's
they,
like,
now
yeah, yeah,
today
please
they have
continue.
access to many resources, and they can, I guess, to
Right.
make refinements after consulting to anyone whom they idealize on LinkedIn or YouTube, or anyone they admire.
I totally agree with like when you said that in today's times, every field has a good scope in like whatever field you want to excel in. And while asking you this question, I myself went back on a trip to the past, like the days when I was picking the subjects and having this thing in mind. Okay, maybe I would have a career in science and this and that, but life always has some plans for you, and it just leads you to the place where you're supposed to be. तो आपको जहाँ
Absolutely.
पहुँचना होता है आप इवेंचुअली वहाँ पहुँच जाते हैं।
Right. Even I want to add something more. Today is the world where commerce and science and technology are not isolated. That things have becoming for example, if you are a commerce guy, if you want to learn coding, so that in order to make secure career in fintech or data science, the career is today always open for you. I guess the path is now becoming more open for everyone, as it was earlier.
Right, agreed. Now, Arpan, I think if we end up having a conversation about our childhoods and our choices and our subjects, then we will have a separate discussion itself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'll
yeah.
quickly move on to the next part of the discussion, which is like if we move on to your experiences. From what I have been able to understand is that you have worked in like numerous industries, including the garment, cement, and electrical engineering as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
And
yeah.
as you mentioned that you were handling your family's
Yeah, I
business as
was
well.
part of business consultant team, so it was. So I have worked in various. I have worked with various industries.
Right. So, like, in terms of that, can you share a specific instance where you had to adapt your consulting approach, like very significantly due to the unique challenges, like that you were facing in one of these industries? What was that instance where you had to incorporate your consulting skills into the the current position of work that you were at?
Uh, Very good question, Akshita. Akshita, I guess if someone is in college or someone has not worked till now, just to give that, like the big consultancy firm, if you start working in it, they will just train you for, I guess, in just for 3 months only, and all just like one assignment only. After that one assignment, you are still a college graduate, but the thing is now you have to apply your own skills. You either you learn by yourself, or because you have to adapt yourself, because nowadays the competition is increasing too much. So
Absolutely.
they will not like let you drive, like for example they will guide you for all the assignments for all the first year. So only 3 months were given. You are just working under some consultant or senior consultant, and after that you have to independently manage all the clients. So there was some big clients I was working. We have to do some production audit for their lot of plants. There were 6 plants. So in the first plant I was only working with my senior team, and after that all the 5 plants I have to do my own. So during the night I have to study about the industry, I have to study about the changing insights. It was an electrical client. I don't know whether I should disclose the name or not, but I have to read the trends. I have to read about who are their competitors, because there is like, if you enter the corporate world, no one is like there to teach you. Even in the college, no one teaches you about industry. So it was like in the morning I'm going to the client, I'm discussing with the client. In the evening I'm doing my analysis. In the night I have to read about the industries, the changing trends, global competitors, raw materials, and sales, how things matter, how everything is happening. So it was a very tough time, but yeah, it just teaches me lesson that in order to grow, you have to like learn as well, and you have to put some extra efforts, extra time. So even in the corporate world, just if anyone is listening, don't expect that someone is going to teach you. They will just make you train for first 3 months, and after different client you have to read a lot. So for
Right.
example, I have worked electric client, then there is a cement client, then you have to again uh, go at the night, read about cement industry, their trends, who are the consumption, how the cycle in the cement industry works. uh, then again you have to apply those insights, because you can't apply everything. You have to apply some selective insights only. And by the time when you just train, then you get to know which information, how you can be selective with your insights, how can you be selective with your what thing you need to know. So I guess the main thing, or the which I have learned over the period, that there is a lot of information available, and when you are in the consulting, you just be able to know what particular information you should use. And but for that, but to reach at that stage, you have to read a lot. You have to like give a time apart from your office time. I guess I have, whether I have understood your question, or I guess.
No, no, you described it in a very detailed way, and like I'm sure, like with every single thing that you have mentioned, from speaking about the clients, the kind of clients that you have been dealing with, to the very challenges that you were experiencing along with that, you have described the question like the your answer in a very very good way, and though connecting, now like connecting my former question follows this one. How do you pull off the feat so seamlessly, navigating between all these distinctive industries, and conquering such a wide range of challenges as you were describing to me? What is that unvarnished secret to your adaptability and secret in these vastly different domains? Now, especially considering your experiences at EY, HR, and other management related roles that you were working at.
Mm, Actually, in the consulting industry, the main thing you should be able to understand is the about the data and how to infer that data. But even if you see, there are, like, it's not that ki, everything there is. I'm just. Can you repeat, Akshita? I'm not able to know what
All
is
right.
the.
I'll repeat the question once again. That is, like you have been working in a lot of different domains, as I
Okay.
asked you the previous question as
Okay.
well. What is that secret of your adaptability and success in these vastly different domains that keeps you hooked and focused towards your forthcoming goals, especially considering your experiences that you gained at EY, HR, and other management related roles?
Uh, Akshita, I guess for this you need to read a lot. You need to equip yourself with the tools and technology, because sometimes, like, for example, you need to just, for example, in my field, for example, even I have to like consult for production, even if I have to consult for sales. View the skill which was even in nowadays also in demand is to how to interpret and read the data, and to just cut out the noise which is available for, like, because when I joined there was no such tools like uh, nowadays there are some tools like Alteryx and Power BI which simplify the data. So the power is like you need to how to simplify the process. So the skill I guess you need is structured thinking, and some how to, and you should develop to cut out the noise from your data, from your, even if any work you are doing, because I guess you have a lot of in all the industry. If you even, I guess I have done a production audit for electronics industry and a sales audit for cement industry. You just
Okay.
need to read how to read the data, and all and out of how much, and out of the data which is available, 80% is of no use, 20% is of always use. So there is a Pareto analysis which says that 80% of things doesn't matter, and 20% of the things matter the 80% of the time. So you have to just develop the skills which are the important areas you need to expect, and for this you have to like various, you need to learn some power tools like Power BI which simplify the data. So I guess in our field, like in the consulting, data analytics is very important, and the structured thinking approach, because you will be distracted by various factors, various variables, but over the time you get the experience which 20% you need to think, which will impact the 80% of the your work. So I believe
Noted.
that structured thinking, you need to develop the structured thinking and data analysis.
Noted. Absolutely. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I even ask the next question, don't forget to follow Arpan on Instagram, as my next question is related to the platform. Arpan, I was watching your video on the multi-bagger army stock, and it really got me thinking that we often associate a military with values like patriotism and sacrifice, which they do imply. But your perspective, it intrigued me a lot. The idea that investing in the stock market can have a positive impact on our armed forces as well. I would love to hear your thoughts on somehow someone like me, a budding investor, can invest and get involved in the defense sector and make the most out of it while contributing to the development of the country's economy as well.
Actually, Akshita, if you follow the market from past to time, you see that defense sector was a sleeping sector and hasn't given any much returns and people were not investing. So
Right.
from the past few, if you follow the budget, if you have seen the budget, our government is focusing more on the infrastructure and our in defense. I guess we were dependent a lot on imports. So just I guess if you focus on more on the macro parts, you see what government is doing, where the government is focused on. So in the last few times, the government focus is to become Atmanirbhar in defense segment. So that's why defense sector just become major highlights. Government has trying to just reduce the uh, imports from the other countries, and India, I guess, has the second or third largest. I guess I'm just not able to recall whether it is second or third largest in defense sector. So as an investor, you have to be alert whether the money is flowing, where the government is spending, because and where and just I think the defense sector was a sleeping sector. Nobody was paying the attention. When everyone pays the attention, then the sector become again like overvalued or overpopular. So just try as an investor, if not only for example there's a defense now, see what the where the money is flowing from the government, where the developments are being happening. So this is the key to select a profitable sector which can make money.
Understood. Now, as you were describing that the India's defense sector has been a sleeping market in terms of investments, right?
From past few,
And for the past few years,
yeah,
right?
now it
So
has given.
I hope that this sector also develops further, and based on this Atmanirbhar concept that our government and armies
Yeah, right.
incorporating to developing more such feats like with the tanks and all the guns that are being
Yeah,
developed
yeah,
in
yeah.
the country. Let's hope that the this thing gets better. And yeah, okay, now that we have touched on the military aspect, let's shift gears to another issue that has been making headlines lately. Another reel that you were working upon was the Israel Palestine conflict, right? And with the now shifting the focus to Israel's ongoing conflict with Hamas that has been making waves in the market, you have discussed how the Israel Palestinian conflict can impact the financial markets. Given the current situation, what are your personal insights? How can a situation like Israel Hamas conflict or the Russia Ukraine war or any other major disturbance can hinder the financial markets? Like, what would be your perception on this thing?
Uh, Regarding the Israel Palestine one, if you see that market is little uncertain about the whether it what is going to be the impact, and the major impact, like I guess the other Middle Eastern countries are now like are sitting back and are seeing this war and are not actively participating. The real problem will arise when the Middle East country will actively participate, because if the Middle East countries will actively participate, there will be a halt from supply. There will be a halt of supply from the Middle East. There will be a halt of supply of oil from the Middle East, and India's major imports are from the Middle East area for the
Middle
crude
East,
oil.
yeah.
And since we are heavily dependent on the crude oil and for logistics, for transportation, everything will, if the rate of crude oil increases, then it will impact inflation. And whenever the inflation increases, stock market tends to fall. But now the situation is little unclear. For example, the same situation happened in somewhere past 1973 and 76 as well. But at that time, Middle Eastern countries were involved. And because of that, at that time, crude oil has risen a lot. But this time, Middle Eastern countries have not been involved actively yet. Future, I don't know. But in the situations like war, one should be considered investing in assets like gold, because these are considered to be like safe, because gold is like a global asset. Even if I'm I will be just now saying an extreme situation. Even if one has to leave the country, the gold can be they can take the gold. I'm talking about the physical gold, even because gold has a global liquidity. And another is Bitcoin. However, in our country, since government doesn't view Bitcoin from a positive way, but these are the two assets which provide the hedge against your investments. Although from seen from the Indian point of view, I don't think Indian markets should get affected until unless Middle Eastern countries will get actively involved.
Understood.
Uh,
Well, I hope that all of this soon comes to an end and the markets
and
as well
before
as the
that,
lives of people.
humanity comes first, and I pray
Yeah,
it
absolutely. Absolutely.
escalate.
And like, who else can understand this better than the soldiers who are fighting there?
Rather than
And I
from
hope that all
rising.
of this. Yeah,
That will be
absolutely. I
the
hope that
first
all of
thing
this
for
comes
them.
to an end real soon and everything gets stable. Now, Arpan, given your, I think we have ventured into like a serious discussion. Let's come back to the main topic of discussion, which is given your extensive background in taxation, could you please elaborate on some of the common misconceptions that people usually have about tax planning or compliance? Additionally, it would be great if you could share some, your personal approach to addressing these misconceptions effectively.
Uh, sorry to interrupt, Rakshita, but I have worked in business consultancy, and after the stock markets, I haven't get an opportunity to work in taxation. But as a chartered
Okay.
accountant, yeah, I understand taxes, and but
All
common
right.
approach
I
people.
think I should have defined my question a little further. This was a very vague, picture of what I wanted to ask you. So, in terms of consultation only, I was going to ask you, like, what is your personal understanding? Like, how can these facets be managed, and what are the what do we call myths and misconceptions that people need to be aware of that you would like to burst on this
In respect
discussion?
of, with
Hello.
reference to, yeah, I get your question. You
Okay.
said,
Okay.
with reference to which field are you asking?
Consultation.
Consultation in the sense?
That you
Uh,
have been dealing with consultation, right?
yeah,
There
actually,
must be some
I have
legal
been dealing with the
aspects,
consult.
aspects related to tax as well. In that regard, I'm asking you.
Okay, actually, I have worked with the big clients on for the consultation part. I have worked with the big clients only. So my I have deal with the normal like for the retail public. So I haven't that much insights by consulting in taxes with the public. But as a chartered accountant, yeah, I have some read about taxes. I'm aware of taxes and I know sort of the common conception. I can give you some insights which people ignore. So first of all, see, nowadays, what the government has done is like they have introduced AIS, and sometimes if you for example, if you want to file the return, even there are some sources of income which you even don't know. You get,
Right.
so for example, you have purchased a share of Coal India, for example, 100, and suppose you get a 3 rupees dividend, and you have credited 300 rupees. So when you file the return, you might have forgot that. But government automatically is not tracking all your income. So when you try to file your return, it will automatically reflect as like, yeah, you have 300 earned. So you will just get to know, I just forgot, because it is a minimal account. No one keeps the track of some minimal incomes. Uh, I was just trying to give you an example of AIS. Nowadays, the government has set up a very good system where all your incomes are tracked. But still, for example, uh, we don't know the for example, in case of say equity markets, we say that for example our share is making loss, or uh, okay, if your share is making loss, so for example you have booked the loss, so but you don't understand that you can set off these losses against the profit. For example, if your profit is of 2 lakh and your loss is of 50,000, you might go ahead and book the profit of 2 lakh, but you don't understand that even your loss, you also have to set up that also. So you have to pay effectively tax from 1.5 lakhs. Even your some expenses like brokerage, and even your, for example, for a free if I say from a freelancer point of view, uh, there are some things which we like, our very common things which we ignore. For in case of equity, as I explained, we forget to ignore our losses. And in case if we are, for example, if we are using something, for example, if you have started work, you purchase, if you are using your personal laptop earlier, now you have converted it to for freelance work, even then there is a provision that you can claim depreciation on that as well. So there are some
Right.
things, there are very minute things which we forget. So for new generation who are just trying to do some part-time work or some freelancing work, if you are just trying to use your personal laptop, your internet, home internet connection, then you can also can consult a C and claim expenses for that as well.
Understood. Thank you so much
Actually,
for
I got a
answering that.
specific point, and
Yeah, thank you so much for answering that question so diligently. Even though my question went on a tangent, and apologies for not being that clear with my question. Now, Arpan, that whatever you described to us, it sounded really very interesting, and I must say that. But other than this, there's another question that pops up in my head. Like, Could you share some of your insights on the most profound emerging trends, like that, affect the consultancy, the stream, in terms of the disruptive technologies that are, revolutionizing the digital consulting landscape? How do you anticipate that these trends will influence and shape your work in the ever evolving digital world? Or how would you describe the effect of, this digital change in your consultancy career, or any other profiles that you have worked in?
I guess the most important thing is that one has to adopt with these skills, because when I joined consultancy, there was only Excel and we have to punch that Excel and work on that. After that, there are so many tools like Alteryx, PI, and it like because you can complete your 30-minute works in 5 minutes. Earlier, when I was working in
Right.
my department, there were only CAs. Now there is a demand. Now even you won't believe there are engineers as well. And after 3 years, we think why engineers are there, because they have a grip on data, they have a grip on technology. So if you have a grip on technology, you can easily understand the a financial aspect as well. For example, earlier when I joined, you need a CA to understand debit, credit. But now, if you are an engineer as well, so that data or that tool only simplifies it, because you just have to code and the things will automatically, and or the result will be automatically popped out. Earlier, when I joined, there was an Excel. You have to separate out debit item, you have to separate out credit items, then you have to understand what is the impact of debit, what is the impact of credit, what is the impact of tax. But now the tools are such, like you just code it, like separate debit, separate credit, separate this, and what is the impact, are the rules followed. And even the now in the consulting department, engineers are also working with chartered accountants. So the
Right.
technology is like, you have to even especially for those who haven't worked or are not from the technological background, either like they should do some courses from Udemy or any other platform. Because as I'm saying, earlier when I joined, there were only the CAs in the department. Now there are engineers, coders as well. So, and nowadays I don't think it is difficult to learn coding, because there are various resources available. And I guess the people who I guess we say that AI will replace the job. AI won't replace the job, but the people who really know how to effectively use AI, they will replace the jobs of people who are still not be able to and able to cope up with the technological changes. So when I was in EY, I guess half of our team was filled with engineers, and like we just very what we will do. So after that, we were also started learning coding, started learning tools. So I guess the with the change, I guess you need to learn these skills, and these are the skills in demand.
Well, definitely, today's
And the landscape
scenario,
has changed too much, because
yeah.
I guess after some time even taxation would be automated, because there is some set of rules in the taxes you will go, and I guess some tools are being worked in these big firms also, and the engineers, coders are working. I'm not saying that the commerce guys won't be able to uh, like cope up with it, because nowadays they can also do some courses, and it is not difficult to learn and these coding types, because everything is now you have accessible. Earlier it was very difficult when that you don't have any, you don't have enough resources, but now you have resources, and people I guess who are using these resources will be able to replace the people who are not.
Understood.
And the
Well,
landscape has changed a
I
lot.
this is like really very agreeable that in today's times you have to be digitally sound. You have to make sure that you are
You
keeping
have
up
to.
with all the trends. You are constantly updated. All right. Like if I've been asking you a lot of questions related to your work and career, right? How about we engage in a fun question now? What's it?
Let's go.
Okay. Arpan, I'm giving you a situation, okay? If you could have a hilarious talking animal sidekick for a day, like a wise cracking penguin, or a little guinea pig, or a pun-loving parrot, like what wacky adventures would you like to embark on together? And what do you think your newfound friend would say that you have, would have you both in stitches?
Rather than animal, I want to become a superhuman. I
That's a childhood fantasy a lot of people have.
childhood fantasy. I mean, right. Even I am have a very fond of powerlifting and gym as well. Even when I go in the gym, I'm so much when I'm not working, I'm so much obsessed with physical power. And I rather than becoming an animal, I wanted to become a superwoman who can lift something heavy things and If you can, then
Like
just
like
beat the
the
villains and
Incredibles, like
then
Mr.
action.
Incredible. Understood. Well, that sounds so fun. And, even I have dreamt of having an animal alien friend sometimes and do sort of all sorts of evil stuff with them sometimes. But, yeah, I mean, oh God, it was so fun engaging with you. But putting this episode to an end, before putting this episode to an end, I have one last question for you, which is, do you have any sort of advice for the people who are watching us, or even for me? Who have been asking you questions, bombarding with you with all sorts of these questions. Anything that you have to say?
I guess in advice to you or to anyone or to anyone who is watching, I guess one should like because one should like at this time since the time is changing rapidly, one has to like pace up pace up or pull up your socks or just do anything, just get stay updated, because right now the competition is increasing too much, even in the consulting, even in the content creation, even in the any field you take up, because earlier there were not that much competition, but now since the electricity rate is going, everything is going up, the competition is becoming too intense. So at one should like at this time, at the time of starting career or in the mid career, you just try to trade your time with the developing skills and the skills which are in demand, like the digital skills, coding. And because technology and everything is changing so fast, the content creation industry, which was 1 year before, is now even has become more crowded. So you have
Right.
to be stay updated, try, test, experiments, develop new skills, just keep on learning, developing new skills, the skills which are in demand. Otherwise you will be like out of the competition.
Well, that's totally understandable. And I must say that I have been constantly making notes out of whatever you've been describing to us. And I'm sure that the people who would be watching us right now would also be making notes alongside. And it was such a treat engaging with you in this session. I must say that. And thank you so much for all your generous responses, Arpan.
You're welcome, Akshata.
Thank you so much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've had the distinct pleasure of delving into the captivating world of Arpan Kukreja. Our discussion has been a journey filled with wit, wisdom, and some truly unexpected twists. In this unique encounter, we've not only explored the depths of Arpan's knowledge, but also witnessed the sparks of his personality. And that's what sets Expert Insight apart. We are here to bring you not just facts, but the stories and experience behind them. And Arpan has certainly delivered that on that front. Now, as we wrap up on this episode, remember that curiosity knows no bounds. Stay curious, stay inquisitive, and keep exploring the rich tapestry of knowledge that our world offers. Expert Insight will return with more remarkable individuals and intriguing conversations, so keep your questions ready. Till then, you can go and follow Arpan on social media, and you can also connect with him on other platforms as well if he is available over there. We are also available on Play Store along with the iOS app, and you can follow us on Instagram as well. We are not at all. And do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel now. For now, I'm Akshita, and I encourage you to keep the spirit of learning alive. And thank you so much for being a part of this unique journey with me and Arpan Kukreja. And until we meet again, stay curious, stay unique, and stay inspired. This is me signing off. Thank you.